Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the McGonagall Boxing Podcast. Let's get straight down to it, shall we? So of course, the big news in the boxing world this week is Frank Warren's best stable of fighters has issued the challenge to Eddie Hearn's best stable of fighters. Frank Warren, obviously busy in lockdown planning this, has come out. He's also announced that he has made a phone call. Finally, Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren spoke for the first time ever this week. And it looks like there's a real possibility that not all, but certainly a good few of these super fights might just now happen. So what I want to do is break down the top 5 fights and discuss what would actually happen if they do meet. So of course, the mega fight, the super fight, the big draw fight, probably the fight of the decade would be Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. I think, I've made no secrets that I believe Fury will win that fight because he's the better all-round boxer. And that's not to say that Joshua can't win. Good boxer, big, strong, powerful man. But I just think if you're odds on to bet, you're going to go with the sublime boxer, the better all-rounder. I see it 70-30 in Fury's favour to win that fight. But I want to break down the other big 4 fights of the Super 5. The first one, of course, being Dillian Whyte versus Daniel Dubois. Frank Warren's proposed this, and what a fight this would be if this was to happen. Dillian Whyte is a dangerous fighter for anyone. That concussive counter left hook, which sparked out Chisora, who's got an iron chin, just goes to show. And look what he did to Lucas Brown. I think Lucas Brown was out for a good 5 minutes. So the problem you've got, the big problem is Whyte has struggled, against men that pull it on him, constantly, make him fight at a pace he doesn't enjoy. He hasn't got the greatest cardio. I have a lot of respect for Whyte, and he's improved his fitness, but there's no question in the Rivas fight early on, the Joseph Parker fight late on when Parker had to go for it, the Derek Chisora fights, when you back him up, the Anthony Joshua fight, and make him fight at a quicker pace, he gasses out. His basic technique becomes even more basic, and he kind of loses all his poise and shape, and he ends up panicking and sort of fighting scrappy, and that's how you beat Dillian Whyte. I believe, as much as Daniel Dubois, is risky for walking into left hook, he's got the perfect style to beat Whyte. And of course, you have to be a certain size and strength to back a big man like Dillian Whyte up. But guess what? Dubois is that man. Huge, big, strong, young, fast, explosive. I believe he's going to eventually get to Whyte, gas him out and stop him around the 7, 8, 9 mark. And I think Daniel Dubois knocks Dillian Whyte out. Great fight though, 60-40 for Dubois. Moving on, Joe Joyce, Derek Chisora, another 60-40 fight, another win for the Frank Warren fighter. I believe Joe Joyce is a better boxer. I believe Derek Chisora will pose problems for Joe Joyce, there's no question. But I don't think Chisora is a big enough hitter to hurt. And I see this going similar to the Brian Jennings, a sort of a close 12-round decision, but Joyce ultimately too big, too strong, starts to walk Chisora down and slowly but surely beats him up. And this is the pattern when, I'm not talking about David Price, who's a busted flush British level fighter. I'm talking about, world-class fighters. When Chisora's fought them guys, he kind of gets manhandled. He got manhandled against Fury, manhandled in many respects against Klitschko, Vitali, and even, if you're looking against Helenius, controversial decision for some, but Helenius did back him up and just sort of bullied him in the inside. And I think Joe Joyce does that. I think it'll be contentious early rounds. Chisora's shown improvements with his explosive punching, but I think Joyce takes it, and I just think he slowly but surely backs Chisora up, beats him up. Don't think he stops him. I think Chisora's strong enough, tough enough, but I think he either gets pulled out, which is a real possibility, by his corner, about the 10 mark, or, he hangs tough and just takes a slow but sustained beating and loses on a points decision. Okay, moving on to the next big one is, of course, is probably the most exciting one in many ways. Anthony Yarde versus Joshua Buatsi. Brilliant fight. But it's the one fight I'm picking the Eddie Hearn camp to come through. I think it's 70-30 Buatsi. I think Yarde can win. I think he's got explosive speed and power that might unsettle someone like Buatsi, who's never kind of faced anyone quite like that. But I think Buatsi is just as quick, just as strong, and he's a better all-round boxer. He's got better defence, better counter-punch, and can really hit as well. A lot of people see Yarde as a knockout artist, but look at Buatsi. Not many people. I don't think anyone's gone the distance with him yet. Serious power, and I just think what's going to happen is he's going to figure out Yarde, who's quite one-dimensional. He's going to start timing him, and he's going to slowly take him into deep water, start to tire him out, counter him more and more, and I think he knocks Yarde out. I think it'll be around the 9-10 mark, in even more clinical style than Kovalev did. I just think Yarde's still got problems with his cardio, and I think that will be exposed when he fights Buatsi. I'm going for the Buatsi KO. And finally, another excellent fight, Demetrius Andrade versus Liam Williams. Now, had you said this fight 2 years ago, or even 1 year ago, there's no question who your money's going to be on. It's going to be on the slick, skillful Andrade. Very good boxer, sort of in the mould of Billy Joe Saunders. And obviously Williams had looked like, let's be honest, at best at European level. He'd lost to Liam Smith, who, with greatest respect, is just about border on that world level. But it's the improvement going up a weight, the improvement going with Dominic Ingle, the improvement of the self-belief. Liam Williams is a much better fighter. He's changed his style. He's far more aggressive, better shape. And what he did to Atlanta's Fox, no one had done. He destroyed him. He walked him down every round, beat him up. And I just think he's not going to allow Andrade to breathe. Andrade likes everything his own way. He likes to fight at his pace. And when someone's on his chest, he's not going to enjoy that. Liam Williams, I believe, will take Andrade's punches. He's not a heavy hitter. I think he walks him down, beats him up. I think it's a better version of his last fight. Now, people say, well, don't be ridiculous. Andrade will be too quick, slick, jab Liam Williams face off, head off. I get that, but you didn't see what I saw in his last fight. I was there live. I think he's got good head movement. He cuts the ring off, and when he cuts you off, gets you in that corner, he doesn't let go, Liam Williams. He's a relentless fighter. Not the fact that, Andrade, who's he fought, really, of the last, 5 fights? Not many. And, Atlanta can't really go by, he fought this person. But let's face it, he didn't do half as good a job with Atlanta Fox as Liam Williams did. And, the names on his list, Akalfe, Saluki, Keeler, none of these fights are in the same league as Liam Williams. And he's only beaten them by unanimous decision. Some were split decisions. He's not a big puncher, and he tries to outbox you. I think Liam Williams is going to cut him down, hurt him, beat him up, and I think he beats Andrade. I really do. As long as he gets good judges who allow him to fight, especially if they get it in the UK, I'm going Liam Williams 7:30. The improvements in that man is unbelievable. He's like a whole new fighter. So there we have it. I have it 4-1. I think Hearn's fighters are in a world of trouble if these supercards do happen. And I think Frank Warren might just be making a statement that actually, when you look past the big money of Sky Sports and the big money to the zone, that Eddie Hearn not only is going to in his own words, eat some humble pie. But Frank Warren is going to make a statement that he does indeed have the better stable.